So UFC Mexico City just ended. I might as well recap over the Moreno versus Erceg fight because it was pretty good. It was a pretty good fight. It was a very competitive fight between the two. Honestly, thought Steve Erceg would do a lot worse than he did, but he actually did pretty good. And I just think that Moreno just wasn't a different level that night. And I don't know what it is. Like Moreno just is different in Mexico City. I just think it's the altitude. He changed to Tijuana, which is like it's not the same sea level as Mexico City. I think it's just so high up that it kind of does affect people's cardio and affects people's performances. It's just how it is. Unless you live in Mexico City, then you're not going to have the same performance, right? But, you know, both people showed out today. Steve Erceg definitely showed a lot of heart, but I think Moreno was just he was just a lot better that night. And if we look at the scorecards, I mean, it's just true. I gave round 3 to Erceg, and I think that's definitely a round that he won. For every other round, I gave to Moreno. I felt like Moreno did more with the shots. He put more damage on them. He was applying pressure throughout, and in rounds 4 and 5, I think in rounds 4 and 5 he got some control time as well. It was a very competitive fight. I wouldn't say it was close, but it was definitely like a fight where honestly neither was like losing so bad. Like it was not so clear on who exactly was the winner. And but if you look at it round by round, I thought Moreno won 4 rounds to 1. When going into the fifth round, I had it 3-1, and I felt like Moreno won the fifth round. And I think the judges got it right. I mean, it was pretty much identical scorecards. A lot of people are saying this fight was close and that Erceg got robbed. I don't think so. I just think that Erceg didn't do enough. You know, he was letting Moreno get in with his overhands, and although he had some good moments, he had some good moments in the knee with the strikes. I just feel like he had a lot of opportunities to really do a lot of counter striking, to have those counter moves, but he just didn't. And I think it was due to because of the altitude. I felt like Erceg could have done better in sea level, but I feel like Moreno could have also done better in sea level, and we've seen that. Moreno is just on a roll right now. He's on a 2-fight win streak. He's defending against top contenders, and I think that this fight really shows that Moreno does have a way back to the title. And if I were to set up who should what he should do next. Now, he said he wants to fight at UFC 320 for UFC Noche. That was a big announcement that they're officially having a Noche event in Mexico, in Guadalajara. And I'm glad for this. I'm not Mexican. I'm not even close to Latin at all. But I think I'm glad that Mexico's finally getting their own event in Mexico. I mean, obviously we have the Mexico City events, but having Noche in Mexico makes sense, obviously, because like it's a Spanish event. Why shouldn't it be in Mexico? It's been in Las Vegas, which is honestly pretty Spanish enough. But I think it's a good one. I think it's going to be a good event. I don't know what exactly is going to be the main event yet, but for Brandon Moreno, I think it definitely makes sense to have him on Noche. I thought we should have had him last year on Noche, and I think they were trying to set up that fight, but Amir Albazi, wasn't really trying to fight until Edmonton. So I think this is a good fight. I think a good fight for Moreno. I don't think you should get a title shot off this performance, just because I feel like that might go to Kai Kara or Manel Kape. But I think they're trying to give the title shot to Kai Kara France. I think that's what they're trying to do. For Brandon Royval, he was supposed to have a title eliminator with Manel Kape, which honestly I thought that was going to be a good one. But Brandon Royval pulled out of that title eliminator. He's probably just not going to get the title shot anyways. And Manel Kape, it was already confirmed by Dana White he won't get a title shot, and he still needs to fight for one more. And for Moreno, I don't think he's getting a title shot either. He's already lost to Pantoja 3 times, and it'd be the 4th time he'd be fighting Pantoja in the UFC. It would just be it'd be too much. Even if you don't count the DWC, even if you don't count the Ultimate Fighter, it's still 3 times, and Pantoja has beat him all 3 times. So, I mean 2 times, but I think they're not interested in making the rematch yet. But I think they're trying to make a title eliminator, and honestly, I think Moreno versus Cobb makes sense for UFC 320. I think it makes ultimate sense. It'd be a banger. It would be a banger feature fight, or maybe it should be a co-main. It depends if they're gonna put 2 title fights on there, which for Noche they probably might, since it's pay per view. They'll definitely do that, and I just think that I think it's a good fight. Moreno versus Cobb, 2 of the best strikers in the division right now. They're both destroying up and coming contenders. It will be a good fight. I mean, they're both fast strikers. We both have really good boxing, really good speed, and it's going to be a firefight. I think it's going to be really good. And that's what I would have for Moreno. For Erceg, on the other hand, well, I think first things first, please stop giving him high-ranked opponents. I mean, you already went through Pantoja. He already lost. He already got knocked out by Kai Kara, and it was clear that Moreno was just better than Erceg in that fight. Erceg is still very good, though. I think, Erceg, he took this fight on short notice. There was altitude. That may have affected the fight a bit. And I think this is a good time for the UFC to stop trying to force this man to go into title eliminators and have him instead fight an up-and-coming contender like he should. And I think the first one he should fight, I honestly think I'd be interested in a match between him and Ramzan Tamirov. Tamirov had a good performance against Charles Johnson. He's number 13. T versus number 8. I think it'd be a good fight. And, Tamirov needs to go up. Erceg needs to go down. So, and down in the rankings, I mean. So I think it would be a good fight. Erceg versus Tamirov. Maybe even run it back with Amabayev. I don't know about Amabayev, but either Erceg or Tamirov, and maybe I know Joshua Van. I was gonna say Joshua Van, but I think Joshua Van is fighting Bruno Silva instead. But we'll see. Erceg versus Tamirov maybe sometime later this year. Maybe on Australia. Maybe on Is there any Australia fight nights? I don't think so. Maybe on some other card. I don't know. Maybe Abu Dhabi. But that's who I would match up with. Apart from that, it was a very good card. I thought it was very nice. I thought the main event was really good. The co-main event was definitely surprising, I mean, not that surprising. I know Torres does have knockout power. And he definitely showed that with the Judoba fight. He just got him clean. With the other fights, it's definitely very good. Rosas, youngest guy to make a 5-fight win. To get 5 wins in the octagon, definitely very good. And I think this was a good event overall. It was a good, fun fight. Even all the fights were fun. All the fights were fun to watch. It's the one thing I like about Mexico City. We always have banger fight nights. So, yeah, that's all. I'm trying to sleep.